Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan and I have my friend Brian here. Today we're going to talk about dating and bipolar disorder. We did a video with Carly and a girl's perspective, and now I want to have a guy's perspective. So let's start off by asking Brian, when you're dating a girl and you go on your first date or first couple of dates, at what point would you reveal that you have bipolar 1 disorder?
Straight up, almost first thing. I mean, not the very first thing, but if I get like even a Tinder match, I'm gonna drop that just to,
Right away?
Yeah, sort of as a test. Like if they can't handle that,
Yeah.
then if they can't handle that, then I don't think they can handle me. So I think as long as you kind of tell them your story and tell them that you're treating it, those things make up a big part of my identity. And if I'm hiding that, then I'm hiding myself from them, and I don't want to date them anyways if they're gonna like drop me because I'm bipolar anyways.
Right. And I feel like it would come up early on anyways, because usually when you go on a date, people typically want to get drinks. So
Right. Yeah, and it's like, no, I can't drink, anymore. And
You're like,
you don't want to
kinda
drink around me
to.
anyways,
Yeah.
I gotta be straight up because I'm 29, and people at my age or around my age are still maybe in the party phase, or let's go get fucked up at the club, or let's go to a show where there's a ton of weed and Molly, and I gotta be careful of where I put myself.
How
Especially.
has your mental illness or substance abuse issues affected past relationships?
Lost a lot of relationships to substance abuse, alcoholism, and before I even was diagnosed, bipolar related issues. So I probably lost 2 or 3 really important relationships or long-term relationships to them because I was going through a phase of either drinking or untreated mania, and my girlfriends have had to put up certain boundaries, and when those boundaries are violated or crossed, they leave.
So currently, are you trying to date, or are you just focusing on yourself and being single?
I'm trying to date, not trying to get into anything too deep, trying to keep things light. I was on Tinder for the first time before I went into the psych ward, and that was kind of sketch. I don't know, Tinder, I met a few good people, but for the most part, like, fuck Tinder. I don't want to be on that shit. It's sketchy. People are fronting, not telling you who they really are. There's people on there who are in relationships just looking for validation on the side. So I'd rather meet somebody in real life.
What about Bumble or ChristianMingle.com?
Yeah, Christian Mingle or like Farmers Connect. No, I haven't fucked with any of those. I mean, I know Bumble, the big thing is, the girl makes the first move.
Oh, really?
I'm perfectly happy to send the first message. It's just most of the people I matched with, I didn't want to have anything further to do with. I'd like look at some of their pictures, and they're like a party girl, or I'd read their profile, and I just find so much more of an honest connection meeting people in real life. And that's not to say I didn't meet some good people on Tinder, but at this point I've deleted it off my phone and not trying to get back on it. I feel like it's unhealthy for me at this point, at least, to be on Tinder, because it's kind of addictive. I'd just be swiping left, right, and then eventually I was just swiping yes on everybody, and so I was matching with people that I just was not feeling. So
what do you think is the best thing for you when you do find that right person? Like, what qualities are you looking for in the regard to someone helping you with your mental illness and being supportive of your bipolar 1 disorder?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a good listener and somebody who can put up with the highs and lows. At this point, I'm like getting back to that period of stability, so I do want to date again and be with somebody that I can kind of share my life with. But I know from personal experience that I have to work on myself first. Way more important than just getting back on Tinder or Bumble or, you know.
Is it true? Because when I met my husband, they didn't even have dating sites. I think literally the day before I met my husband, I discovered Plenty of Fish or something.
Oh yeah, POF.
Yeah, so I don't even, does that exist anymore?
Yeah, I think it does. That's for older people. You know, Tinder's kind of for like people under like 35. Younger. Plenty of Fish, you know, you gotta, from what I've heard, fill out a huge like resume. Same with like Match.com.
Don't you have
I
to
just don't have time
Match?
yeah, you do have to pay for Match. And on Tinder, you know, you can pay for what, Tinder Plus, where you get more visibility, and I don't know, it's just, to me, it's like, it turns dating into a game where I want something more authentic.
Is it just like hooking up, or like what is it? Is that mostly what online dating's about? I don't know.
I know people who have met like their wives on Tinder. I know people who have met somebody that they've been with for a long time on Tinder. But most of my friends have, and we've talked about it a lot and joked about it because it's just fun to discuss. You know, most of the people I know have met maybe one or two good people on Tinder and then deleted it and gotten off the app, because you don't want to be on a date with somebody who's on Tinder swiping while, you know, you're in the bathroom. It's just fucked up.
Would you be embarrassed for a girl that you're newly dating to know that you've been to the psych ward, or that you take medications or anything having to do with your bipolar type 1? Or are you just so like used to your diagnosis at this point that if they're not going to accept all the things you've been through, then I'm
just over it. You know, it'd be like hiding that I have diabetes and I have to take insulin every morning. It's like, what am I getting out of hiding it? Bipolar is still stigmatized, and I think you and I in these videos are trying to break that stigma. In the past, you know, I have been embarrassed. It's not glamorous to be like, you know, getting out of the psych ward, but it is just a fundamental part of who I am. And you know, I'm on like several medications, so if I'm with them and I'm gonna have to take some pills, they're gonna want to know at least what I'm taking them for. Bring my AM PM pill tray and just lay it on the fucking table at dinner and be like, this is who I am, you know?
Is it important for you when you find someone that they get along really well with your family and that you get along with their family?
Yes and no. You know, with past relationships, I've had stronger and less strong connections with the person's family just based off of how much I'm seeing them, how much I'm hanging out with them. But yeah, I guess when it comes to their family, I'm a little scared of, and if it's like a serious or getting serious type of relationship, like I can explain to them I'm bipolar, but do I really want their dad and mom to know? And especially with the older generation, I feel like mental illness is a little bit less understood. So
I think so too. Family of your spouse, it can be tricky because not everyone understands mental illness the same, and it affects people differently, and it causes different reactions.
Yeah.
So sometimes that can be tricky because that could influence your spouse too, the way that their other close people in their life view you and your mental illness and your episodes.
I just don't want their family to hear, you know, Brian's bipolar, and then that to be used against me as ammunition if something comes up. It's like, then if I'm in a fight with that person, let's say, and they bring it to their family, and then their family says, well, why are you dating that crazy motherfucker anyways? You know, find somebody who's not bipolar, and that's fine. There's plenty of not bipolar guys out there who I'm sure could make certain women happy.
Yeah, I've found that too, that's a really good point that you brought up about having your mental illness being held against you. I haven't really had it happen yet, but that is kind of something that is in the back of my head, that if I was to get into a fight with someone, that they might throw that in my face.
Right.
Which would really piss me off.
It's like, oh, must be manic. You know, I guess my stance and with lately especially is just being straight up about my diagnosis, not advertising it, but being straight up about it. And especially when it comes to dating, I mean, you're looking for somebody who you're gonna be very, very close to. So in order to develop intimacy, I think it requires that honesty.
I agree.
So I know you touched on it already in your video with Carly, but how is your experience being married to somebody who's normal. How has that experience been for you?
I mean, it's been all over the place. I know that before I was diagnosed and he didn't know what was going on with me and I didn't know what was going on with me, so it caused a lot of problems. But my husband is a really good person, and he cares about me a lot, so he has educated himself, and also he knows at this point, we've been together for 9 years, he knows what things bother me, he knows how to push my buttons, and he knows now that we're dealing with a very severe mental illness, and that if I get really stressed out or I get pushed too far, that I might run away and kick it with homeless people, and who knows what's gonna happen. So he knows when I tell him and communicate with him, I'm at my limits, I need you to back off or give me space. He's been a lot more respectful of that, because, you know, I have been to 4 psych wards in 2 years. I've been to jail 3 times. I've gone through a lot of things, and he obviously doesn't want me to have to go through any more of that. So he's done a really good job, especially of taking the stress off of me and not putting pressure on me. And I'm really appreciative of that. So
what's the best way you think a significant other can support somebody with a mental health diagnosis? Like what's the best way for him to support you if, let's say, you're depressed or maybe feeling a little hypomanic? What's the best way he can be there for you?
Educating himself on the illness is first, but then also knowing me as a person, because just because I have bipolar disorder, not everyone that has bipolar disorder is the same person. We still have personality traits and different things, and so I think, you know, him getting to know my personality, and that comes with time. Like I said, we've been together for 9 years, so he knows my personality and knows the things that irritate me and bother me. A huge part of bipolar disorder can be irritability, and I do get really irritable. So in the past, we would get into tiffs and he would fight back with me, and now he's a lot better about letting stuff go, or when we start to kind of get in an argument, he backs down because there's just no point to argue with me. I would say with depression, if I can't get out of bed, I think just being really supportive of me, and he has, as far as like not pressuring me to do anything, not pressuring me to clean, not pressuring me to cook, not pressuring me to go anywhere.
The video with Carly, you said if you're in a mild depression and your husband says, for example, let's go for a hike, do you feel like that's helpful for him to like pull you out of it a little bit, or do you just want to be left alone?
Yeah, it depends on the severity of the depression. I don't not get out of bed, I can't shower. Functioning at the simplest levels, like brushing my teeth or taking a shower, I literally can't do it. So in that kind of a depression, he can support me by not pressuring me at all to do anything, not even to brush my teeth, just you know,
just giving you your space to feel it and go through it.
There is a depression that isn't like a severe depression per se, but it is a depression of hatred towards yourself, of like, you know, a self-loathing, like I can't believe I did this, I can't believe I said that, and just embarrassment. So that kind of a depression is just pure embarrassment. Like I don't want to go to the grocery store, I don't want to be seen, I don't want to run into people that maybe saw the asinine shit I posted on social media, because I just don't know what to say, so I just isolate and hide out at home. But in those times when my husband's like, hey, like let's go hiking or let's work out, or he just encourages me to get out and be a little bit social, that really does help me.
Right, because it's like when you're coming out of that, or for me, if I'm coming out of a manic episode, it's that feeling of shame, and then I can spiral down into a depression. It helps to have people, you know, gently reach out and say, hey, you know, maybe we could like go for a walk. Or I know when I've been in really deep depressions, my dad will leave like notes for me in the bathroom just saying like, I'm sorry you have to go through this, but like stay strong.
That's nice.
And
You
it's like
never
really,
told me that.
it's like really supportive.
That's
and
so
it's gentle,
sweet.
and it's not like, you know, you need to wake up, do all this shit, blah, blah, blah. It's just sort of saying empathetically like, I'm sorry you're going through this.
Or I'm here if you need me.
I'm here if you need me.
And like Brian has mentioned that I've reached out to him when he's been feeling down, and you know, we've talked about that. If I say, hey, do you want to meet up and do something, and he doesn't reply, he still appreciates the offer and that I'm there
still
if he
see
wants
the text,
to.
and I feel the love. I just it's like I almost don't have the capacity to respond. You know, I'll put my phone like in the other room, and I just don't want to hear from like anybody. You know what I mean?
It's not
like,
personal.
It's not personal.
And when I reach out to him, and like I've suggested in past videos, if you're supporting someone that has a mental illness and you invite them to do something and they either A, don't respond, or say that they don't want to do it, respect that. Leave them be. Don't pressure them. Don't guilt trip them, because when someone's already depressed and you throw a guilt trip on them,
Yeah, the
That's
last
not
thing
cool.
we need is a guilt trip. You know, I'm beating myself up enough. I mean,
Yeah.
as a bipolar person, I feel like I experience the world just a little bit differently, like more emotionally than most. So part of the reason I want to be open about that diagnosis is because I'm looking for somebody who feels emotions deeply too. Doesn't just live like a robot. I need somebody who I can relate to on a
Feelings.
deeply feeling emotional level, because I'm pretty empathetic, you know. I kind of have a sense of humor and I'd like to joke around, but deep down I want somebody I can connect to on a real level. And that doesn't necessarily mean somebody who's also bipolar, but just somebody who can respect
Deep.
the emotions I feel, because I feel like I can feel other people's emotions pretty strongly as well, or my emotional radar is a little bit more finely tuned than most. And that's not like a great thing that I'm bragging about, but it's just I need somebody who is experiencing the world emotionally like I am.
That's really interesting that you bring that up, because the more I become friends with you and the more I open up and become friends with people that have bipolar,
Yeah.
I find that similarity in all of us, that we all are so empathetic and we feel our emotions to the highest degree and take on other people's emotions as if they're my own. Like if you were sad right now and crying, I would literally feel sad. Like
Yeah.
I could cry too. Like I would feel it like throughout my whole body. Like I would feel sick to watch someone cry. So that's just really interesting.
Yeah, I just pick up on vibes, and when I meet people, I can kind of tell if they're the type of person I would even want to reveal my diagnosis to, because some people I just believe would never understand. So
There's no point.
but if I'm feeling a good vibe and I'm feeling like a connection with somebody, I'm comfortable with revealing that because it's part of who I am.
Thank you guys for watching this video about having bipolar disorder / mental illness and dating. If you're new to my channel, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I will
Subscribe.
see you in my next video.
Bye.
Bye.